Happy New Year's Eve! It's almost 2025, and today is the last day of 2024. And then you're wondering, what would Formulaya talk about today? What is common on New Year's Eve? Fireworks. So, today in the Python programming tutorial, I would show you how you can create fireworks in Python. And this is day 61 of the 100 days Python programming challenge. And it's New Year's Eve. So let's create our fireworks in Python. Happy New Year's Eve. Hello everybody and happy New Year's Eve. 2024 is ending today, and I'm so excited. I hope you're so excited. Sorry if my voice sounds off. I'm a little bit sick today. Yeah, I'm sick again. But it's New Year's Eve, and I will be making fireworks for you. This is going to be a very interesting tutorial. Like I told you, sometimes tutorial doesn't have to be complicated and stuff like that. Sometimes you can just play around with stuff, and in the process, you're learning. So let's make fireworks. What would I be using? I'm sure you can already guess. I will be using Pygame. Who doesn't love Pygame? And then I would be using random and then math. So let's import our modules. We'll be using Pygame, random, and math. So what I want is I want an interface that opens up, and I want like particles exploding like in the way fireworks usually explode. And after one particle explodes, I want it out of my screen, and then a new particles appear, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on. So we have fireworks. So as you know, Pygame is used for creating graphic display and handling events, and random is by using it to generate random numbers. And in this place, we'll be using it to generate random colors of our fireworks, because our fireworks should not be the same color, and random position. Our fireworks should appear at random positions on the screen. And the math will use it for mathematical function. So since we're using Pygame, the first thing that we have to do is to initialize Pygame. And then we do that by saying pygame.init. And then the next thing is our screen dimension. Remember, all the times we've used Pygame, we set our width and our height, and then we use the display set mode for our screen to display to create this display window. And then we also set the title for our interface. So I would have it here. So this is my screen dimension. As always, you can modify it based on what you want. If you want it bigger, if you want it wider, and the rest. And this is the title of my window, the New Year's fireworks. And another thing that I want to do is to control the frame rate. So I want to create a clock object that controls the frame rate of the game loop. So I will do that by doing pygame.time.clock. We would use this later to set it. Maybe we want it set a frame rate per seconds or 60, depending on what we want. So I have my clock. This creates an object that controls the frame rate of the game. And now let's add our class to create our fireworks. So I want to have a class, and I'll define the init method. What is this class doing? It's setting the position of the particles color, the size of the particles, the direction of the particles, and the speed of the particles, and also the gravity. I forgot that. The gravity is a constant value that stimulates the downward pull. So those are the things I want to have in my init function. Do not forget the position, the color, the size, the direction, the speed, and the gravity. And this is where the random function comes into place, because for instance, my size would be random from one size to another, because I don't want it to all be the same size. The speed would also be random from one to another, and but the gravity, I'm setting it to 0.2. So this is my class particles, and this is my init function. I'm starting with self, and this x is and y is the position of my particle. Color is my color. radius is the size of my particles, and it's going to randomly choose from 3 to 6. You can play around with it this when you're done, so you see the different radius of your particles. And then this is the angle, the direction of the movement. So I'm choosing between 0 to 2 pi. Again, change it to whatever you want so you see how it will look like for different angle. And then my speed, the initial speed, it is a random float between 2 and 8. And then this is my gravity. So now, what methods do I want to have in my fireworks, in my particle? I want to have a move method. A move method is to update the particle position based on the angle and the speed. And then I also want to shrink the particles and add gravity to pull the particles down. So I would have my move method. So this is my move method. We're updating the particle position, x and y, multiplied by the speed, and then we're slowing down the particles, and then we're applying gravity, we're shrinking the particles, that's we're setting it to 0.1, and then we're preventing negative radius so it doesn't go to negative. So this is that my two functions. The other function that I would have is the draw method. I want to draw the particle on my screen if the radius is greater than 0. So you see that we set the max from 0 to self dot radius. So once the radius is greater than 0, that means I want to create or draw my particle. So I'll have my function, and I would have my if statement that if the self dot radius is greater than 0, then I wanted to draw a circle based on the color, based on the position of the x and the y axis, and based on the radius. So those are the parameters that I'm using to draw my circle. And how am I drawing my circle? We're using the Pygame dot draw dot circle to draw my circle in Pygame. So see, I'm giving it the self and the surface parameter. If self dot radius is greater than 0, then it should draw the circle based on the color, based on the x and y position, and based on the radius. That's what I wanted to draw. And this is the class for my fireworks. Then we know we would have multiple fireworks. It's not just one. We would have multiple because they are appearing multiple times. So then I want to have another class that would manage the multiple parameters or the multiple particles, because we have one particle that will maintain or manage the multiple particles. So I'll have my class fireworks. Let me type my class appears, and then it explodes to multiple particles. So one appears, explodes, one appears, and it explodes. So I would have my init function, that is the position of the fireworks explosion, and then I would have random selected color, and then I would have a list of 50 particles. So you see 50 particles that would explode. And then I would then have my explode method. My explode method is to move each particles in the fireworks and remove the particle with a radius of 0 or less. So then let's have our init function. Remember, it's one particle exploding into 50 particles. So we're putting the position, the color, and then the particles, and then exploded. So what is exploded? Exploded would go to true. That lets my program know that, oh, that particular particle is done exploding. So it's like a flag that indicates that, oh, it is done. And you see this self dot particles, it's for in the range of 50. I want a list of 50 particle objects, and then a randomly selected color. So these are my color choices. So it's going to choose anyone randomly. And then we have our x position and our y position. So the next thing is the explode function, and I said it moves each particles in the fireworks, and it removes the particles with the radius of 0, and then it sets the self dot exploded to true to let the program know that this particle is done exploding, so that it can remove it completely, because we don't want when we're not going to want to make space for other particles to explode. Okay, so this is my explode function. I corrected this first function because I was not showing the unit. I told you I'm not feeling fine. Okay, so this is the explode function. So it moves each particles in the framework and it removes particles that are less than zero. And then if it sets self-explode to true when all the particles are gone. So now for the final function in our class, it is the draw method. Remember we have the draw method here, so we would also have it here. It's just a simple for loop that for particles in self.particles, we want to draw our surface. So it's just a simple function. So self dot surface, and for particles in self dot particles, we want to draw the surface. So these are our two classes. So now let's have our main loop. Our main loop would have a list that stores all the active fireworks, and then we would have a flag, a running that keeps the game loop running, and then we know would have event handling to check for events, specifically if the user closes the window. Remember the last time we also did something like this, that if the user closes the window, that triggers that is the end. So let's have our functions with our list and our running set to true. So this is a list that will store all our active fireworks, and this is a flag that keeps the game running. So then while true, I want to clean the screen for the next frame. So while it's true, I want to have a clear screen. So one firework goes, clear screen, next fireworks. And then I want to check for events that if the user closes the window, then my running would then become false. So I would have for event in pygame.events.get. If the event is that the pygame is quit, then I want running to be false. So then if the Pi game is not quit, we said that we want the fireworks to appear at random interval to be at different position. Then I want to add a firework at random intervals. So then I'll choose a random from 1 to 0 if the random is 1. And then I want to append new fireworks to my fireworks here. I need it to be at random position, random height, random width, and so on and so forth. Again, all the values that are here, you can change it up with different values so you can see the different positions that it would appear. But this, after practicing and testing, these are the position. These are the position that I ended up with. So I'm adding a new fireworks at random interval. So I'm appending a random width, a random height, and so on and so forth. So then next is to draw the fireworks. You see that it is step by step. First, we ensure that is it running. While it's running, we're clearing the screen. We're checking that, as the user clicked the quit button, as the user closed the window. If that is not true, then we want to add new fireworks at random interval. So then next thing is that we want to draw the fireworks, and we would call our explode and draw function. Explode and draw function, so we can draw the fireworks. And then after we've drawn the fireworks, then we said we want to remove it. Then we will remove the fireworks, update the display, and then control the frame rate. Remember the clock that we set here, we're setting it to 60 frames per second, and then we quit the program. Okay, so this is our code. I hope you got it. If you have questions, feel free to ask in the comment and then I would answer it. But see, it is a step-by-step process. A step-by-step process to ensure that everything works fine. You see, we have our class particles, we set our colors, our position, and then we created our move function that we're using to set the speed, the gravity, and the radius. And you see, we called the move function in our explode function because we need the speed, the gravity, and the rest as the particles are exploding. And then we have our main loop for adding the event. We're adding new fireworks at random. We're updating and drawing the fireworks. We are removing exploded fireworks. And we're updating the display, the main function that would then call other functions. And then if I run this, we should see the fireworks. And there you have it. You see it at random position, and you see its random colors, and you see as one firework is done, once the particles has exploded, it clears from the screen and it keeps going on and on and on. You can add sounds to it. You can add like an audio that plays with each firework explosion. Let me know if you try it out. I know it's a lot of code, but take it one by one. Break it down into steps. Like, what do you want to achieve? You want one particle. What do you want that one particle to do? You want it to be at random color, or you want it to be at random height, random position, and then you want that one particle to explode into multiple particles. That is basically what we did here. And then if the user closes the window, we know that the program is done. So this is the tutorial. I hope you will try it out and write your questions. Let me know if you have questions, and I will be in the comment section. And once again, Happy New Year's Eve. When you see the next video, it will be 2025. See you in 2025. That is it for this video. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And as always, the link to the Jupyter notebook is in the description, so check it out and let me know what you think of our video so far. We're going. Thank you. Bye for now.